Hi, and welcome to the 64 Doors. Today we're going to open door 27. We call this archetype the Nourisher because it knows how to give wholeheartedly without expecting anything back. It has had to learn to fill its own cup first, to not self-sacrifice or drain itself. We're going to look at this archetype energy from a human design perspective and a Gene Key perspective. Right now, we have the Sun in Taurus in gate 27. We have the Earth in Scorpio in gate 28. And the design part of the cross is 41 and 31. In human design, we call this cross the right angle cross of the unexpected. And it's made up of these four energy. The 27 that has the caring energy in it. The 28 that is about risk-taking. The 41 that is about anticipating what's coming. And the 31 that is about leadership. So in human design, we say that this cross is a tribal cross that is here to support and stand for the tribe, that be friends, family, town, school, or a country. You're here to ensure that your tribe is nurtured and cared for, even if it requires bending the law. You will also find that you bring about unexpected things, whether this is your doing or just a coincidence of the energy around you. The unexpected is something you can expect in your life, both for good and not so good. When we look at it in the body graph, we see that it comes from the sacral center. So this is the thing, it responds to life, and it is an energy that comes out from the sacral. So when we misuse it, that would lead to drain our vital energy, our life force. And that's also when it's combined with the 50 on the other side. The 50 has the instinct of knowing boundaries and being able to say when there's a corruption in the giving and receiving. So the 50 really helps the 27 to not overgive. When we look at this in the circuitry book, that channel between the spleen and the sacral, it's called the channel of preservation. And it's a design of custodianship. The quick reference theme is you are somebody who is here to either maintain or change the values of the people or the community around you. Added to this, you have an aura that generates automatic trust from others, which means that people look to you naturally for support. The only lesson you have to learn is to not take on so much responsibility that you lose sight of yourself. So we have that theme, even when the 50 is there can be taking on responsibility for the tribe and kind of saying the pod is more important than the individual. So that's always something to, when this is activated in you, whether it's the 27 or the 50, to really see both the part and the whole, and to see that, to make sure that there is an equilibrium and not a disequilibrium in what you take first. And we also see the keywords natural nurturers, providers, and leaders. So going more to the keywords of just only the 27, we can see that the internal motivator is, wanting everybody to flourish. So really caring about the pod, the whole, the community, the country, whatever, you see as your unit. And it's also the motivation of being strong together. And it's about assuring well-being of the community. The Achilles heel is to balance that care for self and others. It can be caring more about the tribe than the individual, like we were saying, wanting everybody to be altruistic. So there is a little bit of that pressure that, since it's a tribal gate, it kind of wants to put pressure on others. So it's wanting everybody to be as altruistic as you are, if you have this energy in you. Because the Nourisher sees that that's something that anybody can do and should do. So a little bit of that pushing everybody to be in the same way, in the same giving way, in the same wholehearted way, we could say. And the positive attributes are caring, responsible, and impactful. So if we go over now and look at this from a Gene Key perspective, well, first we can say what I sometimes, to understand how this works. So this is the This is the wheel of astrology that we all know. So we have been in Aries now for a month, and we just went into Taurus. So this is the first gate that is fully in Taurus. And the way that it works is that it goes counterclockwise. This is how the sun goes, and it takes 1 year to go around all the signs, 1 year to go through all the gates. So we are coming from the 51, the 42, the 3, and now we are in the 27. Each gate is for 5.7 days, because if you take 365, 64 days, and you divide it by 64, you get that every gate, every gene key is going to be, the sun is going to be in for 5.7 days. And there's also a calendar in genetic matrix that shows you this. So for example, here we see we are in the 3 until the 20, and then it changes to the 27 on the 21st. So 5 days, 6 days in each. So going to the gene keys. So here, when we come to the gene keys, we see that there is a frequency band. So we speak about each gene key in different frequencies. The lowest is contraction and fear. The middle one is the pathway. It's kind of the human life experience with openness and experience and learning from this key. And the highest one is the creator energy, is the highest frequency. So the lowest one is selfishness. So that is when this gate doesn't have that altruism in it, when it's actually contracted in fear and caring about self first. It could also be when we look at the repressive and the reactive. So it's self-sacrificing. It has, it's self-centered, you could say, self-sacrificing when it gives too much to others, or self-centered when it gives too much to itself. So repressive or reactive. And then the pathway in the human life of this 27 is altruism. So it's really about the caring for the whole, for the world, for humanity. And the highest frequency is selflessness. And that for me, you have to basically go and read into the gene key book to understand. Here it says love, the new superfood. So there you get a glimpse of what it is. But to really feel into the city, I would say it's important to go into read Richard's transmission, because that's where you can feel this frequency fully. We also see the programming partner. So now I was showing you the Rave Mandala wheel, that we have the 27 in Taurus on this side, we have the 28 in Scorpio on this other side. They are complete opposites. You can also see that in the hexagram, everywhere we have a line that is not broken. In the 27, we're going to have a line that is broken in the 28. So they are complete mirror opposites. So in astrology, we speak about oppositions, and they are always kind of tense. They are charged, you could say. So in the gene keys, we use this, and we call it programming partner. So we have selfishness goes together with purposelessness, because to just care about others, then you have like the purpose of the things are going to be not stable. And if you only care about yourself, it doesn't matter, only yourself or only others. It's like you miss the purpose of the whole. And we can see that altruism and totality go together, and then immortality and selflessness. And sometimes you can use the higher frequency of the programming partner to tap into the higher frequencies of this very gene key. Sometimes it feels like actually the lower frequencies is kind of just pulling you there. So it is good to know about the programming partner and kind of have it in mind, because the shadow frequencies always go together and the high frequencies always go together. If we go into astrology, it's Taurus. So the first gate, like we said, that is in Taurus energy. And I love Taurus. It's actually my sun sign. So lover, dancer, and embodied beauty. And the fixed earth. So Taurus is the flower and the fruit that wants to be smelled, tasted, and pollinated. So you can feel this, you can feel the caring of the 27. You can feel how it is. It actually says, when we look at the circuitry book, it says that it's a gate of sexuality. It says sexuality, communal altruism, and mammals, right? So it has this very, very physical touch about it. And the caring, the nourishing through, intimacy, through sexuality. And it's flow and presence. That's the sensuality of Taurus, right? And it's a service to self-growth through the Epicurean experience of the senses. So living through the senses. Taurus bring that's what the sensuality is, bringing in the smell and the taste and the feeling. All these things come in, and it's very much the caring about the 27, that nourishing caring. If you go to the I Ching, we see it's mountain over thunder, and it says, bring awareness to what is feeding each action. The heart moves from spirit's inner calling. So here you can even feel that we have that 50 that goes together in the harmonic gate, because it has to do with balance and harmony, and not correction. Bring awareness to what is feeding each action. So we don't want it to be fed by correction. We want to have the awareness and the clarity of why, of the purpose as well, which is the programming partner. And the trigram, so thunder is made up of 2 trigrams of the 51. Or the 51 is made of 2 trigrams of thunder, and then we have the 52, the mountain, which is made up of 2 trigrams of mountain. So that was what's happening here, and that's also what you see. Altruism is restrained initiative. So if you remember the gene keys, this is the 51, this is the 52, and that makes up this 27. We can go in and look at integral human design here. So in responsibility, that's corruption and either very self-centered or very self-sacrificing. Then we have nurturing, and we have generosity. And I think it's beautiful and very telling that in integral human design, this sacral, this tribal circuitry, you have it on both sides here of the sacral center. It's a stream of relationship. So isolation, relationship, harmony are the 3 key words. And like we were saying before, it's a sacral gate and it's responding to life in the moment. Maybe one more thing. Wild turkey. That's so funny. But it feels very kind of farm and also kind of social, the wild turkey, right? Of course, I love the dolphin. I feel like we're going to do something in the 64 doors here. We're probably going to use some of the dolphin, the pod mind, the dolphins are always together and caring about the pod. So that's the human design and the gene keys. I want to mention some of the things that you can tap into this week to really feel into the energy and see where you have this archetype of the nourisher in your own life. I would say the first question to tap into is, where in your life are you self-sacrificing? Are there places where you maybe do something and then afterwards you feel a bit of resentment because maybe you gave too much or you feel drained? This is a perfect week to tap into that, to feel if there is balance in your giving and your receiving. It's also good to look at, maybe there are some particular relationships, maybe with family, for example, where you tend to be self-centered, maybe even selfish. And can you see where that came from and why it's there in that particular relationship? I also feel it is a good week to think about, how are you filling your own cup first, so that when you give, it is from a sacral center, you could say, that is regenerated, this regenerating. So if that's not the case, how can you start filling your own cup first? What is important for you? What are the basic things that you need to be nourished? And once you have those, it's going to be different to give. You're not going to give with strings attached. You're not going to give to get something back, because that's the 27. The 27 has this discernment or discrimination. You can feel when somebody gives from an open heart and when somebody gives because it's expecting something. It has an agenda with the giving. And also maybe look at the people around you, maybe the people that are doing a lot in your community or in your family, and see, are they actually giving because they expect you to do something? Or is it that just like open giving with both hands? And in that case, how can you reflect that back to them? How can you allow them to feel that they are on the other side of caring, on the other side of nourishment, that they are receiving? So I wish everybody a really, really beautiful week. And I see you next week with Next Gate. Bye.